Yeah, Rebuilt. How's it going, man? Welcome. One of the things that helped me get over my imposter syndrome was to see that senior devs don't actually know everything. Amen, brother. And I only learned that by pairing with seniors. Right. Yeah, pairing is a great way to do that. And I don't have a lot of time for one-on-one pairing. So what I'm hoping and what I'm seeing is that, doing live coding stuff is kind of group pairing, but I get to put my stuff out there, and people who watch me know that I'm a senior developer. I've been doing this for a long time, and they can sit there and watch me screw things up and have to ask chat, somebody tell me how to do this. I have no clue, and I do that all the time. And I have no problems with that. Because I want juniors to go in there confident and say, you know what, I'm just as good as the seniors. I just don't have as much experience as them. So, of course they're going to know some things that I don't know yet because they've spent 20 years learning, but they still screw it up and they still learn new things. So it's okay for me to get in there and try and learn and mess things up. Another mantra I've had for a long time is if you aren't breaking something, you're not trying hard enough. You probably ought to do a little bit better job at your job if you're not breaking things.
You sound like what's his name? Facebook dude. See, my brain's left me. The founder of Facebook. Didn't he
Right.
say something like move fast and break things?
Yeah, yeah. Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I completely agree, Rebuilt. That's important. One of the other things that an example that comes to mind and something that I'm hoping to help juniors get past is a lot of interviews that you go on for software engineering. They'll get you, like the manager, the interviewing manager will get you on a call or in a room and say, okay, here's a coding problem, code it in front of me. And that is intimidating as hell. And I'll tell you, I did that. I had to take those tests when I was looking for a job in the middle of my career. And even at that point, I was a senior developer at that point. That was still intimidating, having somebody look out over your shoulder. And I was like, I don't ever want to feel like that again. So I want to go do this on a consistent basis where I'm in front of people coding new things so that I'm comfortable with that, because I didn't like the feeling of, oh my God, somebody's looking over my shoulder. I better get this all perfect and right, or I'm not going to get this job. That is not how it goes. So be comfortable with it. So if you're not a senior developer, or you're not, and junior developers, I think would benefit greatly from live coding and just getting out there and getting comfortable with that kind of stuff. I know it's intimidating, but it's really not that bad. But if you're not one that will do the live coding, I would highly recommend that you go watch people live code, because there are people on Twitch and YouTube that do live coding, and a lot more than me. I didn't come up with this. Great positioning for convincing people to do live coding. In what way? What's convincing you, man? Like Lucian, you've done a few live things now, not live coding that I'm aware of, but some interviews. You've been on this show. You've been on Seb's show. You've done a couple of things live. What's different about that than recorded stuff? I mean, do you have any advice for people who want to try live coding, and what things that they should think about, maybe? Or anybody else in chat for that matter. But I would highly recommend, Twitch. There are quite a few Ruby programmers. If you're into Ruby, I mean, all the languages are out there. I typically look for Ruby programmers because that's the language I like. But oh yeah, making it more comfortable in interviews. It did that for me. I realized after I had that, and this has just been a few years ago when I was looking for the job, when I was doing the job hunting where I got this job. Um, that happened to me. And, this is 20 some years of programming under my belt, and I still was intimidated, and I didn't like that feeling. So I said, okay, I'm just going to, get in front of my fear here and constantly do this in public. So if I'm ever faced with a situation like that again, but that's something that juniors, this is not just so you can show off your coding skills. This is so you can develop coding skills that will make it better for you to get a job. Not only that, but if you're live coding and you've got this stuff up on the web and you're going to look for a job, you can say, hey, look, you can go watch me code, watch my thinking process. I've got a whole portfolio of videos that you could watch and see exactly how I work. Because I know right now I'm hearing a lot of things about juniors having a hard time finding jobs, and lots of people are looking after all the layoffs and stuff. It's a tough market, and so having ways to sell yourself and show potential employers, look, this is me. No surprises. Here I am. You get to see exactly what I'm doing. And it makes you more comfortable with that kind of stuff. So, I highly recommend trying some live coding. Just give it a shot. Worst that can happen is you don't like it and decide not to do it anymore. But all you need is a webcam and a headset mic, which you probably already have anyway. Doesn't take tons of equipment.
And a dream.
And a dream. And like I said, join our Discord if you want to. I'm happy to take questions and talk to people about it. Lucian, what is different now after a couple of live shows? It's easier after each one. Exactly. I mean, I'm still not 100% comfortable in front of a camera, and I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, your first one, if you're going to try this, your first one, you're going to be petrified, or it's going to be a disaster. But just keep going, and it'll just keep getting better if you're going to try this.
Right, and I think,
and I say this not live coding, but I say it doing live shows, doing recorded content in general, where I'm showing my mug and speaking to a mic.
Yeah, it's anytime you get in front of a camera, it's just not comfortable. But I think it's, as I said earlier, that's usually the biggest hurdle. And I'll offer this up too. If you get on the Discord and we're talking about live streaming and you want to try a live stream, let's work out a time. I'll get on there with you, and because it's always easier to have somebody on there with you to talk to, so that you don't feel like you're talking to nobody, because that's really hard to do, especially for most programmers who are fairly introverted. Just talking to nobody is not a skill that you really come to the table with most of the time. You have to learn that. So it's easier to get started if you have somebody with you, and I'll do that. I'll come on and be your wingman if we can work out a time. Because I love this stuff and I want to see more people doing it. So, what things are you thinking about live coding?
Yeah, so is this for me?
You or chat?
Okay.
The main fear, Lucian said, man, I'm having a hard time. My southern drawl can't pronounce that name the way you did, man. I'm trying, but Lucian. I think the main fear for me regarding a live show is a combination of not having time to think, rethink, combined with the feeling that it will remain written in stone. That's a good point. And that I think is one of the biggest things. Time, you feel like you're under pressure to get it done. I was feeling that when I started coding with Chris, and what I've realized is if I need to sit there and think for 10 minutes about a problem, I'll sit there and think for 10 minutes about a problem. Or I'll start talking to chat and just having a conversation about something else so that my brain can percolate a little bit. But yeah, I
Yeah, I
get
mean,
that.
because
You feel like you want to say, like you want to show everybody, I know how to solve this problem. Here we go. But that's not really the point.
yeah, I mean, a lot of times the best solutions I come up with is I hit a problem. I do try to break through the wall the first couple of times, but sometimes I'm just like, I'm just going to step away. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to, oh, it's time to make dinner or whatever. And then like I'm sitting down and then suddenly I'm like, oh, I could try this. Or, or you're in the shower and you come up with those solutions on the fly. So, I mean, when you're live coding, I think you're probably going to have to take that into account. You can't just come up with the best solution right then and there. It may, maybe you say, I'm going to table this. This is an implementation that works. Maybe I'll make it better later.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe on your next stream, maybe you'll have an idea to apply towards it.
Yep. And I've done
So I
that
think
several
trying
times.
to get the best solution immediately, don't think it's going to come because it doesn't, well, at least it doesn't come in the real world for me either. So,
yeah. And, what I'm starting to understand about the Coding with Chris, it's different than this. This is a show. This is a talk show. We're here to pass knowledge, to entertain, to be a little more professional than I'm trying to be with Coding with Chris, right? But still be real. I don't want hyper polished scripted stuff. But this is different than the live coding stuff I'm doing, and it was weird kind of taking the mindset of what we're doing here and changing that for the live coding, because I'm not trying really to teach over there. I'm just trying to share my process over there. So it's kind of a different mindset, and it is a little intimidating still for me if I get stuck on a problem on live chat. Is that I can sit there and just say, well, I have no idea. Let's move on to something else, and just be fluid and change the plans as we go. Like here, we have a topic that we're trying to talk about. I started doing that with Coding with Chris and trying to say, okay, today we're going to work on this thing. And I still do that. I'll put a title up and I'll start there. But if I get stuck, I'm just like, okay, well, we're going to go work on something else then. Or, hey, here's this thing related to this, and I'm more interested in this right now, so I'm going to go work on this thing. And it's
get
fine.
The ball. Get the ball.
Right.
Get the shiny ball.
Squirrel. But, and that's fine, because that type of thing, the live coding, and I think the sense I get from chat is that they actually are enjoying that, because they can take things in a different direction too. Chat can say, hey, what about this? What can we go look at this thing? Sure. Let's, it's just like pair programming. There's no agenda there. It's just, I want to code some things, and I'm just going to do it with a camera on me. So, so people can share, and maybe I can get some help. And I get a lot of help with chat, because I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing with the game programming stuff. So chat's in there helping me all the time.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.